Hey guys, if you like my content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. It really helps me out. Thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Esports Money, ZSM, Mac10, whatever you want to call me, and welcome to my guide jungling Kunkka in patch 7.06e. This is the patch that we are currently in, as of me recording this video on August 14th is when I'm doing the editing. I actually recorded the footage a few days ago. This is the TI patch. This is the patch that we are probably going to have for a few more weeks, and then either we're going to have a series of slight balance tweaks or we're going to get a massive update. However, I would expect the massive update, including the two new heroes, to come relatively soon. I don't think there are any glaring imbalances, and from the looks of it, it seems like we're going to get the I would bet that we're going to get the big update rather than a series of small little ones like we had last year for a variety of reasons, but that's a video unto itself. So, jungling Kunkka. So, Kunkka, I mean, if you're trying to jungle Kunkka, you're kind of greedy to begin with. And I think that Kunkka, the way that I like to play him, you know, I'm a greedy player, I think he's a little bit better in lane, especially if I'm maxing my W, because the Tidebringer is just awesome. It just makes people hate laning against you so much. But for that same reason, for the big AoE, it's pretty efficient at farming creeps, surprisingly. That being said, Kunkka's not that tanky out of the gate. He's got decent-ish armor, but his health regen is relatively low. So you're going to need to get a stout shield as soon as possible. And yeah, so you start out with an Iron Talon and a pack of Tangos, put 1 point into your Tidebringer, and then get a stout shield as soon as you can. And then you're going to be going for a bottle. The bottle is the next big item. And then we're going to be going into making phase boots, and I prefer to get the Claws of Attack before I get my boots, because it makes my jungle a little bit faster. The ultimate goal, and what I end up doing in this guide, is getting at 8 minutes, Iron Talon, Stout Shield, phase boots, and a bottle, and this allows me to roam, and ideally, if you're a little bit more efficient than me, or you get a little bit luckier than me, you will be able to get a Windlace as well. And the idea behind this is you're going to be roaming around and trying to get kills. Now, you can put an additional point into your Q or your W at level 3 for purposes of being safe in my jungle and knowing that I'll have mana for it because it doesn't cost mana. I like to get the extra point in my W. But realistically, if you want to, and you do use the Q to jungle a little bit because you're going to be getting a bottle relatively early, you can put the extra points into your Q and use them to jungle. Keep your W at level 1, and then at level 4, get another point in your X. At level 5, get a third point into your Q, and then at level 6, get your boat. And what this will allow you to do is move to someone's lane, X marks them, Q them, throw your boat on them, and they're dead. Like, it's a pretty easy combo to set up. They're dead. And then from there, you level up your Q again, and then you can start putting points into your W. So the idea behind this is, and I really think that keeping team morale up is a big deal, otherwise I wouldn't be as concerned with this, is to move into someone's lane and then immediately help their lane at about 8 minutes in, once you have the bottle and you have the phase boots. And remember, with the phase boots, it gives that bonus damage that goes nicely along with your W. So go in, one right click, either before or after the combo, considering you'll probably have level 1 W. You have probably before, because you're not going to be able to hit it twice. So one right click, and then Q, X, ulti, they die, and then if you have a full bottle, you can actually burn all those charges down, and then you have the mana to do it again. And Kunkka's boat has an incredibly short cooldown, considering the buff that it gives your allies, and the damage it does in an AoE to enemies. It's also very good for farming creeps, and if you're watching this video, again, you're probably kind of greedy, and it's not that bad to use to farm creeps because of the fact that it has a very low cooldown. So if you have the mana, if you torrent, and if you have like a double stack or a triple stack on a hard camp, you can torrent into boat and basically wipe the whole camp. One more hit of Tidebringer, and then basically every single creep left in that camp is going to be down to a single right click left. One of the problems with this is that you can't really Iron Talon, or you mess up the aggro, and then you're going to take a bunch of damage. But hey, it still gives you the bonus right-click damage, which is nice for finishing off those creeps at the end. So, something to think about. That's more of a mechanic I like to use to farm in the mid-game, because once I get that level 8, I'm trying to look around lanes. And notice I was being pretty safe in this guide, so I put more points into my Tidebringer and only 1 point into my Torrent. But you can see I've saved a lot of mana up. Regardless of how you choose to play, you do want to get the Torrent starting at level 2. You really want to get the Tidebringer at level 1 because it only does 75 damage in an AoE, or your Torrent only does 75 damage at level 1, and your Tidebringer is all and around more effective. You can also feel free to use the Shrine. It's got that 5-minute cooldown now, so generally speaking your mid is not going to have too much trouble if you use it. Just ping him out, and again it takes 5 minutes, so chances are he'll be needing it around the time you are, or around the time you start to need it. Is when it becomes available anyway. So it's a pretty straightforward guide. I like to use those other mechanics to farm in the late game and the mid game, and if your lanes are going super well, then don't even bother leading and just keep farming for yourself. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you next time, and congratulations to Team Liquid on winning the International 7.